Greetings, everybody. This is Sharu with another daily Astro weather forecast and a live chart reading as well. Today, we have the moon in the Vedic constellation Moola, and it's right here at the beginning of Sagittarius. And so you'll notice that the moon today, it's starting to get with in Sagittarius with Saturn in the south node. So it's going to create a little bit of stress, today, potentially. And tomorrow is going to be a little bit more as the moon moves closer to conjunct with them. But today, with the constellation Moola, Moola means the root, ultimately. You ever heard of the Moola bond or the root lock in yoga? It's the root, and because in the sky it points towards the center of the galaxy, and so it's the roots of. There's Stephen Hawking talked a lot about the black holes. It's the roots of our galaxy, and therefore the roots of creation, ultimately. So it's this primal creative power, really potent constellation. And when I first started following the Vedic constellations, the nakshatras, I really felt Moola the most, because it's just like going down to the root of what it is that you're creating in your life. And you really get to see things in this profound way. And the Vedic mystics saw this constellation ruled over by Nriti, the goddess of destruction, which later became Kali. So most of us know Kali, this super intense, wild woman, goddess of destruction. Doesn't follow the rules, just goes straight to the primal core of what's really going on in this world. Yeah, nice to meet you too, Carrie. Thanks for joining. So, really potent day of going super deep and revealing the roots. Moola literally is signified, the symbol is two forked branches, like two roots. And we'll get into the fork quality soon. But it's ultimately what is the deeper foundation of the root truth of everything. And that's what this today is all about. So it's like, what is really going on here? And we've had Jupiter since the middle of March, being in this Moola point the whole time. And so, we find all these belief systems and churches, going through this kind of like destruction process. And now Jupiter is now back in Scorpio, but it's still on this edge here, really close to this root. So things are a little bit more volatile with Jupiter things, like even finances. And so not until May 8th does Jupiter get out of this position. So, if you can hold off to making any big financial decisions, you want to wait until after May 8th when Jupiter gets out of this volatile zone. And I'm going to keep Jupiter dancing here until May 8th. Right on the edge there. And so, now, like I was saying, it's this ultimately, this unshakable truth is what Moola results in. So today, it's maybe not so good for just like casual socializing. I mean, it's always okay for that, but things that could be a little bit more intense today. And what it's about, really, this core energy of Moola is destruction. Is the core energy, and what it is it's like revealing the lies. Ultimately, you hear this tongue, like a forked tongue. Somebody tells a lie. Well, that creates, there's the truth, and then there's the lie. So it creates this split. And so today's a good day to go through any place where you're, making up things about yourself or telling people untruths. It's going to be revealed today, and those certain things that you're making up will be destroyed today, ultimately. So really powerful time, so liar. So look out for that. And if you're lying a whole bunch, just go hide in a cave somewhere, because today's not a good day for being a liar. Pinocchio's not going to have a good time. And it's lame to be a liar anyway, because you split your energy, ultimately. Then you're creating something that you have to uphold. And then there's the truth that's real. And you're splitting your energy. It's this cognitive dissonance that really saps our energy. But really, yeah, it's just going to the roots, going to the heart of things and being that warrior, to be able to go deep and to be brave and to reveal what's really going on in your life and go to that root. And so, good day for researching, for finding things out. I find a lot of people that have this or just want to figure out the dark secrets. They want to know what's going on, and it just keeps being revealed. It just keeps going. It's just endless. It's like this black hole. But eventually we get down to this root truth. And so today is incredible for that, for this kind of contemplation, ultimately. And you might discover, really deep things that might be maybe hard to accept, ultimately. But we all want to just feel that we're operating from the primal core of what's really going on for us, so we can have our full energy. And I find this constellation is one of the best for people that are therapists, because they're willing to go deep down into the suffering with people. And so if you have this Moola prominent in your chart, or if you haven't had your chart ready yet, maybe you have this Moola because you just want to keep going down deeper and deeper into the truth. And so everybody gets a therapist, says Oprah. And today's a good day, a day for that. And also creativity, color therapy, creative therapy, art therapy, because it's really the root of creation. So this primal creativity, that we have access to today, just going down to that core of how we create in the world. So yeah, it's a great day for that. And again, especially with the moon being conjunct the Saturn and the South Node, you might be feeling a little bit more intense about things. The Saturn is like limitations, and the South Node Ketu is this like extreme look of refinement, of wanting like only the inspiring thing. And so with the moon going through Moola today, you might be feeling more intense about going into those things. And so the color therapy or the creative therapy is, a really great way to channel this energy. And so, I really felt Moola significantly all the time, but it's really based on your own chart, which is why I want to do these chart interpretations every day. And because we each have our own unique blueprint, and these forecasts affect us sometimes even more, and sometimes we don't feel them at all. So it's really good to know the vital areas of your chart, to know when the moon is crossing through those areas, to know that you'll be feeling those things more. And so you can schedule a reading with the link right above here. But let's do a little chart interpretation with my guest today. So let's pull her up on Skype, and let's go ahead and give her a call.
Hello.
Hi. Yay. All right. Thanks for being on the show.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Let me put you up here. Where's Skype? There you are. Perfect. Okay, great. Cool. So let me pull up your chart here first. I'm
Okay.
just I'm just gonna get it on the screen here, and then oops, let me get back to my cam here and pull you up on the screen for all those astrologers out there. They can see your chart here. So we have Taurus rising, and if anybody's out there, can you hear us? Okay. Okay, so Taurus rising, and see the moon. The moon in Aquarius at the very end of Aquarius, on this kind of edge here between Aquarius and Pisces, and Saturn and the Sun in Libra. So you're a Libra in both Vedic and Western. So there's no identity crisis there. Yeah,
Thank God.
yeah. Um, and then Venus in, uh, yeah, Venus and Mars in Leo. And finally, Mercury in Virgo. Okay, great. Awesome. So I'm going to do a little chart interpretation. And but first, I just like to connect with the people that I read for first because, all this can mean so much, right? But until I hear your voice and your desire, it's then when the charts come alive and the omens start to happen in the environment.
hmm
So yeah, what inspired you to want to get a reading today? And I remember in your Facebook questionnaire, you said where am I from? Right? Was that you that said that? Maybe it wasn't you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, there was some alien out there that was asking where they were from. Um, just because I'm seeing this Aquarius here, and I'm an Aquarius, is the most kind of like alien type. Anyways, so what's your reason for wanting to get this reading?
Because I've like tried to do the online readings and they all say something different. So I'd rather just like have someone that does it.
Yeah,
And just like, I don't know, my life is completely changing. And just to get a better like aspect and look at kind of where I'm going and I don't know what part of my chart like creates all of that.
yeah, okay. So you want to know like what direction to go, right?
hmm Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's one of the greatest things about Vedic astrology is there's a really sophisticated timing system, and I'll just show you a close up of it here. I had this prepared for you. Um, yeah, you see all these dates here. It's kind of small, but this is the timing when planets give their results, give their karma. And this is just an incredible
hmm
map to see what's going on uh, in your life. Even it supersedes the transits, and so pretty cool. And also, what is you're saying you're looking online, and they're all saying different things, right?
Yeah.
I
Like one said that my rising was like Gemini, and then one said that my rising was like Cancer.
Oh boy.
And yeah,
Well, weird. Yeah. But in any case,
yeah.
they pump out just general computerized information, and I've never done a chart reading by typing it out for somebody. Because it's like
hmm
I could probably say a lot of things that would resonate, but there's a magic that happens with being in person and talking to the person. That's really how it's traditionally done. And then, then like miracles can happen, like things could happen within this energy. So first, well, let's do like a chart interpretation. And and I'm going to pull up your chart here that I have for myself to see the Vedic constellations. So in Vedic astrology, there's 27 additional moon constellations that predate the 12 sun signs. And so there's just so much more information to be had. Like, for instance, your rising sign's Taurus. So we think about security, and, sensuality, food and things like this. But more specifically, your rising sign's in the Vedic constellation Mrigashira, which means the deer head. And it's ultimately this path to fulfillment. It's known as the searching star. So it's looking for the nectar. It's like symbolic of the paths that the deers create. So it's like walking the path and like looking for that fulfillment. And so Mrigashira, these people are oftentimes like they're just going for the sauce. They're going for the nectar. They want that fulfillment. They want that perfection. And especially with the north node of the moon, that's the main energy of the north node. And in Vedic mythology, it's known as Rahu, the head without the body. And in the mythology, Rahu wanted the nectar of the gods so bad he was even willing to get his head cut off. It's just like wanting what you want so bad. And so it's this like impulsiveness and searching. And so you have the searching planet in the searching star, right? So you're probably searching a lot, like constantly like looking for that fulfillment, right?
Right.
And it's a little destabilizing, right? Like this Rahu, it's a head without a body. And so it's like, oh, when can I be fed? Oh, I can't. And so, hey, Amber Joy. Yay. Good to see you. Aloha. And so, having this right here is like really just focusing on yourself. And so I like Rahu in the first house better than the other way around, just because you're like doing more self-focus, more self-development. Okay. And so we have that as the first house is, and the first house is like the general personality that really comes out the most, I find. And then we have, so Venus, the first house, rules the first house, and you have it in Leo, in the middle of Leo with Mars, in the middle constellation, which is Purva Falguni. And that's all about creativity. It's like this power of procreation. So it's like this creative passion. It's like I want to reach for this creative fulfillment, right? Yeah. And, it's a very Venusian constellation in itself. So you have Venus in its own sign. You must be really creative, right? And Mars is with it as well. And so that creates a really like a lot of passion. It's like your physical energy and your emotional energy link up, and it's just like roar. I want to go out and get them. With the creative way, right? And it's in the fourth house, which is below the earth. And so it's like your inner emotional world. And so with Mars there, like Venus does really well. It's where it gets directional strength, it's called. But with Mars there, it creates this like agitation. It's like in your inner emotional world, it's like, rah, I want to like, I'm not stable in the home. The fourth house is home. So it's just like wanting to move around, and, creativity would be incredible for you to do, like working out of your home with creative projects, right? Pretty fun.
I'm trying to get a job at a graphic design company.
There you go. Perfect. That works. Great. And so now we'll go to your moon here. because that's like, whoa, it's on the edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, it's cool to see it like this. It's like, oh, you're edgy, right? No, but it's at the very end of Aquarius, and this constellation, it's kind of a mouthful. It's called Purva Bhadrapada, and I call it the Side of God constellation. It's like the thunderbolt of samadhi, like wanting to have that experience, almost like that psychedelic experience of like, oh, I see, I see the divine, and it's looking for that inspiration, like spiritual fire, which elevates consciousness, is its core energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is your unconscious feeling with the moon, and it's like wanting to be inspired, in career, and just to experience the inspiring things. And so also to have the moon on the edge here, the moon represents home too. So we're seeing this kind of like transitional energy happening in the home. This Mars, this agitation, and this kind of like transitional consciousness, and so it can feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lack of support in a way. It's like more like I'm not feeling stable here.
Right.
Curious, can you speak to that?
Um, well, I just started like basically like building my life back up after I got a divorce and like went and traveled a bunch and like was living in the woods and then like manifested my house somehow. Like I don't even know how I got it, but so I'm still just kind of like slowly leveling up and getting things situated, but like it's been like a rocky road as far as like finding that stable job and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a cosmetologist as well as a graphic designer, and like I work in cosmetology right now, but not very much. My main focus is to really get this like dream job of graphic design, and like until I get that, nothing in my home is at all stable.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Got it.
yeah.
But okay, yeah. But yeah, it's like creating those kind of like inspiring. You want to be inspired ultimately.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, and so let's go to the Jupiter here, in Scorpio, in this really devotional part of Scorpio, which is like Anuradha. And so what's interesting is these are the two most spiritualizing planets. Like Jupiter is the word for it that we use in Vedic astrology is guru. And then
Hmm.
Ketu is the indicator of enlightenment in the chart. So you're trying to find spirituality through partnerships. And that's like one of the hardest things to do, right?
Hmm.
Because it's
Yeah.
like you're looking for God, so to speak, God, goddess, and there's only humans here, right?
Right.
And so it just leads to this kind of like a little bit of disappointment, like, oh, they're not Krishna, they're not Shiva, or whatever your representation of God is, right? Um,
Hmm.
and so it's like really with Jupiter there too, it's like all this inspiration, and like, gosh, you're the one, and soulmate vibes, big time, with partnerships, and so it
Yep.
creates, yeah, and it creates this kind of projection in that way, you know, and you get a
Hmm.
lot of like the hope and maybe even like your belief systems, or come from the partner, and then that can throw things off a little bit, right? Because you like, um, yeah, and so that's really interesting, and it's just a harder path to go for that like spiritual experience, and to cultivate that and to keep that going all the time in a relationship. And
Hmm.
especially with Mars and Venus together, it says the same thing. It's like falling in and out of love really quickly. It's like wanting the like blissful, like romantic experience, and then it kind of burns out a little bit faster, right? And so it's just, as we get experience and everything, we can kind of get past that first zone and realize, the relationships is work, and to create that stability as you move forward, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. and then you also have really strong Saturn. The best place it could be is Libra, because it shows, committing to your one-on-one contracts and partnerships. So you have a lot of things going on with partnership in your chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the sun is the hardest place for the sun to be is Libra, because we want the sun to be, like all full of itself in Aries, the soul, right? But opposite that, Libra, it gets caught up in other people's stuff,
Yeah.
and that's already saying it here too. It's like getting this inspiration from other people, and so, yeah, but and then also, just in general, aside from relationships, the sixth house here is like your work and service, so it's like showing that you're identified with that work, and to be like a hard worker and to commit to your contracts, but in one way too, like having to like let go of your idea of it at the same time. It's it's really tricky. And it's kind of like this Virgo energy as well. So it gives you that quality of being more analytical and detail oriented. And your sun in Chitra is one of the beginning of Libra is one of the leading constellations I find with graphic designers. Actually, it's really funny. Yeah, I have a few clients that have this certain point here, and it's because it's ruled over by this celestial architect. And so it's like having that precision and accuracy and skill. And your Mercury as well, it's in Virgo, and that's where it's exalted, like the best place it can be. And so it's also in Chitra. Chitra spans between Libra and Virgo. And so, yeah, very, very detail oriented, to have that precision and accuracy. And the fifth house here is similar to Leo, where it's that creative passion. And so really like a lot of detail-oriented creative passion. And so, yeah, in relationship, that could be tricky because there could be more of that like Virgo pickiness, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah, perfectionist. Cool, look at the flame here. 1 second. Oh. It's going off right now. Woohoo! Okay. Great. All right. So, yeah, that's just a briefer chart interpretation. Now we're going to look at the cycles that you're in, and I'm guessing if you look here, so from June 2016 all the way to the beginning of this year, you were in a sub-cycle of Rahu, that north node of the moon. And so I'm guessing that this is when the divorce happened in this period.
Last year in May.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, May 30th was when I signed the papers.
Right.
So. Yeah.
And June 2016 is, well, when did it kind of start happening? I mean, even 2015.
I don't even.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You don't gotta get into
it.
Well,
we got married in 2015. But I think that I don't know. I think I knew that it wasn't the marriage that I was supposed to be in the first place.
I see.
Because
Okay. Cool.
I don't know.
We don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but it's just interesting that so seeing you got into the marriage. You said the beginning of 2016?
No, August 2015 is when we got married.
Right. So you were in the sub-cycle of Mars there. And so what I was saying with your chart is that thing with Venus and relationships. It's like, oh my God, it's so exciting. This big passion is happening, and we're going to, that's what happens. Right. And then what happened? The Rahu cycle started, the North Node, and then that's when things started to probably get more destabilized, because with this nodal axis here, the north node is like suddenly like self-focus. It's like the energy is going to you, and it's letting go, therefore, of the partnership. And so, and the north node is like searching for that perfection, like we were saying in the beginning, wanting that fulfillment. And so, yeah, if you would have seen me, it's like, oh yeah, during the marriage, yeah, you're really passionate right now. Great. But just be careful to really focus on yourself, and make sure you have your own like meditation practice or something, to keep the marriage alive, so that you can satiate this like searching for that perfection within yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be like, oh, actually, that wasn't the inspiring thing, right. Yeah. And so now moving forward, the good news is after Rahu is Jupiter, the Jupiter cycle always. And so, it started at the beginning of the year, and it goes till the day before 4/20/2021. And so, this is typically it's like night and day with going from Rahu to Jupiter a lot of the times. And there's this potential for new partnerships, first of all, for where it's at, but also just like working in teams. This constellation is really good for working in partnerships in general, and you have it in the seventh house of partnerships. So this could give you a lot of good opportunities, business-wise as well. And typically when you're doing graphic design, it's always, you're working in a team with the creator of the thing, right? And so ultimately it can give you like a lot of wealth and prosperity, compared to the last, 2.5 years, because the Rahu's just like, oh, everything's tumultuous, and then Jupiter comes, it's like, oh, I could see. And so what's happening now with the south node of the moon is that you're going for your biggest inspiration. That's what happens when it's conjunct like this. And so you want like the big, amazing thing. And that's great. That's what we want you to do. And so, yeah, this cycle goes till the day before 4/20/2021. And so, yeah, I mean, this is an incredible time for you to just really move forward like that, and to work in teams with people, to create, this beautiful creations of what you do. And I can see that you're really skilled at that creative process, and it's all over your chart there. But it comes from a lot of times like working with other people, and that creative alchemy that comes from that. Cool. And so, yeah, so you were saying at the beginning, like you wanted to know like what direction to go and such. We can get a little
just how it all, like, I don't know, how it can be used as an instrument.
How you could be used, or how this reading can be used?
Like how all the reading can be used as like an instrument to like,
yeah.
Like I know what I want to do, but I'm like, like finding that balance it's a struggle.
So you know what you want to do, but
I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I literally pick up things like constantly that I want to do, because like my mind just is like on the constant go. Yeah. So
right. Yeah, and that's what happens. It's like in partnerships, even just other people, like the new guru ultimately, and they're gonna take you into this galactic zone that's gonna lead to your ultimate fulfillment, and so, but it could be fleeting, right? Because it's this big pie in the sky. Like could be super idealistic with things. And so, but I see this here, in the sixth house, showing that kind of more detail oriented, analytical mind, and this ability to commit to things.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you have a lot of the other more unstable fighty energy, you still have this really strong Saturn. And so really the best thing for you to do, and I see that you can do it, is to have some kind of like daily practice, that you do every day. It could be just 10 minutes. It could be a mantra. It could be journaling, whatever it is. But it's something you should do every day. And that'll start to create that consistency in your life so that you can begin to have more discernment of, what's the pie in the sky and what's the real deal,
Mm-hmm.
And then also it'll create that follow through for you as well. Like,
Okay.
and 40 days is typically, I'm a Kundalini yogi, and there's this 40-day meditation process or anything for 40 days. And so when you can do that and can commit to that, something happens in your self-esteem and just in your energetics,
Mm-hmm.
to get you to follow through. And so it's basically like, you want to be a graphic designer. I'm sure there's tons of people out there that have created courses to show how to be a successful graphic designer.
Well, I have a degree in it, so I mean, like,
Right,
it's
but
definitely
there's a degree, but then there's actually making money. You know what I
right.
mean? So, and so you want to have some kind of system to be able to be successful and financially abundant as a
Mm-hmm.
graphic designer, right? So find some kind of education program out there that teaches you how to make money and do all your systems. I can tell your systems. And just follow that one thing consistently, instead of jumping to the next thing. Because if you're just digging
Right.
little shallow holes in all these different programs, you're never going to get to the core, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I see just like tons of talent. And to really bring out this like visionary state in the people that you work with, to
Mm-hmm.
actually actualize these higher visions that they have. And so it's good for you to just develop those systems to bring those clients through, and to be able to deliver and be efficient about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably so many downfalls that graphic designers go through, of like they keep emailing me like little edits and stuff, and so it's like how to be more effective with communication with the clients. I'm sure there's all sorts of things out there. So my advice is
Right.
just to do have some kind of consistent practice, just for energetically to keep you in that follow through state, and
Right.
to just stick with one program at a time and go really deep into it. Learning about how to be a successful, financially successful graphic designer. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're in a great phase for it. You have the ability with this Jupiter cycle, in a really big way, all the way till the middle, basically 2 years. You have 2 years of this to get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of good, abundant contracts. But it's just be careful, because this is an eclipse energy, that to see what's real and what's not, and
Mm-hmm.
to be more grounded in it, so that's about creating these systems so that your clients don't have these higher expectations, right? And then you have to like over deliver way more than you're able to, these kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Great. Well, do you have any other kind of questions or anything?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, that was pretty spot on. So
Awesome.
definitely me to a T.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And then just on the horizon, really quick, is the shifting of the Mercury major cycle and into the south node of the moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And so this period is a real big kind of refinement period. It's like a 7-year period of this like refinement and looking for that perfection through relationships, business and romantic alike. So
Right.
it can create this kind of withdrawal from if you're not doing the big inspiring thing that you want to do. And it's right at 40 years old, which is a huge milestone for us. So it'll be a time of like, okay, let's like refine my process here and do it even more the way that I actually want to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
All right, great. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for being on the Vedic Astro Yoga show. Cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Great. Well, you have a beautiful day.
You as well. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Super fun. I love this stuff so much. And this timing map is so huge for just organizing and arranging in preparing for these different shifts. So if you want to see, your cycles and everything, and how the different transits are affecting you, you can schedule a reading with the link above. All right, everybody. Thanks for showing up and have a beautiful day.